If somebody come and ask you, now you follow the Buddha, can you tell me actually who the Buddha is? But I don't think you can give correct answer. You say something. This self-introduction given by the Buddha is very meaningful. We can understand why he is called enlightened one.
One day along the road to the city of Sitabhya, the Brahmin donor met the Buddha. From his footprints, he knew this is not an ordinary man, and so he walked up to the Buddha and asked him thus: Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Then the Buddha said, Abhinaya, Abhinyata, Bhaveta Vancha Bhavita, Pahata Bang Pahinang Me, Tasma Buddhosmi Brahmana.
We can understand why he is called enlightened one. He said in his own language, Abhinyayang Abhinyatam Bhavetabbang cha Bhavitam Pahatabbang Pahinang Me Tasma Buddhosmi Brahmana.
One day along the road to the city of Sitabhya, the Brahmin donor met the Buddha. From his footprints, he knew this is not an ordinary man, and so he walked up to the Buddha and asked him thus: Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa? Are you a Deva? Are you a Gandhava? Are you a Yaka? Are you a Manusa?
Tasma Buddho Sambrahmana. Therefore, I am not a god, not an angel, not an ordinary man. I am the Buddha. This is the meaning of the Buddha or enlightenment. Buddha is not his name. Buddhi in Sanskrit, Pali languages means wisdom. Buddhi. Buddha means person who got that supreme enlightenment. That person is called the Buddha. So, you can understand how difficult it is for a person to develop his mind to know everything that which exists in this universe.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, a very good morning to everyone. Nice to see you again on another Sunday over Subang Jaya Buddhist Association Facebook Live. To have clarity in the audio and visual, please check your Wi-Fi. If you encounter problem, you may want to switch off and switch on again. During this online Buddha, remember to have a calm mind even if you are encountering problem. Brothers and sisters, welcome to SJBA 23rd online Sunday Buddha Puja service. Online Puja service in order to give you an opportunity to the Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices during this COVID-19 period. Please feel free to wish everyone sadhu or good morning. Thank you for sharing the link with your children, relatives, and friends over this SJBA online Sunday Buddha. Let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies, and compose our mind. Let go of your thinking about the past, future, and be in the present moment. Our Puja, Sister Anne. Over to you, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Brother Chuan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin our Sunday Buddha Puja. To the devotees who have prepared the offerings, you may light your candles and oil lamp. And let us start the offerings to the Buddha. I would like to invite our President, Brother Chim Siu Chun, to do the offerings to the Buddha. To the other devotees, you may place your palms together in Anjali and have a calm mind. Raji. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us together take refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Anatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Sura miraya majjapama tattana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vidyacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattadeva manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanaiko Pachattang Veditabu Vinyuhiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sami Chipatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Jadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pukkala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttara Punyaketang Lokasati Vandami Chetiyang Sabbang Sabbatane Supatititang Saririkadatu Mahabodhi Buddha Rupang Sakalang Sadang Yasamule Nisinova Sabbari Vichayang Aka Pato Sabbanyo Sangsata Vande Tang Bodhipadapang Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita ahampite namassami bodhi raja namatute Jnanasarapaditena dipena tamadasina Tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang Ganda sambara yuttena dupenahang sugandina Pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana muttamang Vannaganda gunopetang etang kusuma santating Pujayami munindasa siripada saruruhe Puje mi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mettena cahotu mokang Puppang milayati yata idang me kayo tatayati vinassa bhavang Adivasetano bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigan hatu muttamang Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya gatang Acayang kamame bante duripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamame dhamma sandittika akalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning we are very pleased to have Brother Chye with us for the Sunday Puja. Brother Chye will be giving a Dhamma talk this morning on life's true refuge, why we take the Buddha as refuge. I think all of us already know Brother Chye, but please allow me to make a short introduction. Brother Chye began his former Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute Sunday Dhamma School, Brickfield, at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late Venerable Kesri Dhammananda Nayaka Mahathera and also Venerable Gunaratana. He joined the Buddhist Missionary Society Youth Section after completing his tertiary studies and served as a vice chairman and then subsequently the chairman. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, the BMSM. Brother Chye was also a former ESCO member of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, heading the Dhamma subcommittee, and was later appointed as a lay advisor of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association. Currently, he is a director of Nalanda Institute, the education arm of Nalanda Buddhist Society. Brother Chye is a striving meditator and active in sharing the Dhamma at various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore. His talks center around daily practice of the Dhamma and how it transforms one's life. He feels it is important to understand the essential teachings of the Buddha as it gives Buddhists a strong foundation of knowledge which prevents them from wrong interpretation and practice of the Dhamma. Brothers and sisters, in this Dhamma talk, if you have any questions, please type your questions in the comments section. We shall pose the questions to Brother Chye after the Dhamma talk. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we are now pleased to invite Brother Chye to deliver the Dhamma talk this morning, Life's True Refuge, why we take the Buddha as refuge. Brother Chye. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. I am very happy to be once again able to share Dhamma with you this wonderful Sunday. It's very cool, the 1st of November. And as I mentioned when I last gave a Dhamma talk, I focused on the virtues and the importance of understanding what is Dhamma. So it's a little bit not following the sequence, but it is important to also, first of all, understand the Dhamma, then only we come to understand the Buddha. Normally we understand Buddha, then we understand Dhamma, and then after that we try to see why we take refuge in the Sangha as well. But in the talk on the Dhamma, I tried to bring up the significance of how the Dhamma is connected to us and how we can see the truth of life, which is always with us. And that is why many teachers talk about being in the present moment. Because when we are in the present moment, we can see the Dhamma itself. So it takes a lot of study and it takes a lot of practice as well. So we are on this long journey, which requires effort in order to break through our normal conventional way of thinking, in order to see what is the reality of life. And then when we can see what life is really all about, we can have a change of mindset. We go on with our lives the way that we have, and there is no change, even though many people have come to study the Buddha's teachings, and not just the Buddha's teachings, other religious teachers' teachings. They have been studying this teaching, that teaching, but they have not brought about any change to their mind, any change to their life. And it is very often the case with us Buddhists as well. We grow up so-called Buddhists. When we are old enough to follow some kind of religious practice, our parents, our grandparents, our elder relatives will say, why don't you follow me to the temple, to do this, to do that. And even at home, we have our own religious practice. But we don't really understand what it actually means. So, although we come to the Buddhist center, to the Buddhist temple, and we recite during the puja, Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. We recite it Sunday after Sunday, and even at home, we also recite it. But we don't really know what it means. So in the talk on the Dhamma, I try to introduce according to the practical terms, how we can understand what Dhamma is all about. And when we understand the Dhamma, the teachings, the realities, the truth about this life, we can understand the Buddha. Because in our lives, the Buddha has been introduced to us in many different ways. In many temples, the Buddha is put alongside all the other deities and gods at the same level. And so people will go and pay respects and pray to all these deities, and then also to the Buddha. We do not understand the true meaning of his enlightenment. What is it to have a Buddha in our earth history? So we go about listening to this person, that person, this teacher, that teacher, and our minds sometimes are very confused. What is the Buddha all about? Who is the Buddha? And what does his enlightenment really mean to us? So this is a very important question, because we call ourselves Buddhists. And when we fill in the form, when we apply for certain things, we put there under the category of agama, ugama. We put there Buddha or Buddhist. But do we really know what is the teaching of the Buddha? So now it's important, we have looked at what is the Dhamma to us, in its practical aspects, in how it relates to us every moment of our waking life. We are near the Dhamma, but we cannot see it. So when we practice, then we learn to see the Dhamma. And then we will understand the teacher who taught this Dhamma, which is the Buddha. And when we can see the Dhamma, the Buddha, the Sangha, then we have what is called perfect refuge. Yeah, and I will discuss with you what is it to really find a refuge so that we can have some kind of protection, some kind of relief during the difficult times of our life. And this is quite important because I have been discussing with other Buddhist leaders, and they have told me that in this time of the pandemic, of COVID-19, that is now around us, and it is invisible. We can't see it. There are certain kinds of threats, dangers that we can see, but this danger we cannot see. And there are many in our society, many Malaysians, they are living in a state of anxiety. They are very fearful because the government tells them, be very careful of this. And of course, we know that when we get this disease, this virus, there are those who die from it. There are those who recover from it. But those who recover, they don't really get rid of all the effects of the sickness. In fact, we are getting to know this virus more and more. Encounter it. So the doctors and the scientists have found that even we so-called recover from this virus, the effects of the virus keep with us for quite a long time, depending on the person's state of health, on the body, the resistance, etc., etc. So when we know this, it plays on our minds. It makes us more fearful, more scared, more worried, about where we can contract the virus and how it will change our lives. Of course, we have seen that so many people in the world have already died, who were here in the early part of the year, and now it is November. So many, I think it's about 1 million over, have already passed away. So it is a great calamity. So therefore, the reason why I'm saying this is when we have such dangers, when we have such calamities, where do we go to seek some kind of relief, some kind of, shall we say, solace? Solace means some kind of protection, take away this heaviness that we have in our heart. So there are those of other religions, they will start praying, to whomever they pray to, this do. So we say we go to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the three jewels. The Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha, the three jewels as our refuge. And we chant it again and again and again, every Sunday. But do we really know what it means? Do we really know how to approach these refuges? And do we really know how these refuges, when we understand them, how they can relieve us, how they can alleviate, how they can take away the sense of suffering and worry and anxiety from our minds? So we don't really understand that. It is a weakness in our education system. You can be sure that the followers of other religions, they know very well what their religion teaches them. But Buddhists are deficient. We are weak in transmitting the Buddha's teachings to our next generation. So therefore, we have to step up our learning. Try to learn more and more and more so that we can see the beauty of the Buddha's teachings. So let us examine what it is to go for refuge. Next slide, please. So here we are, looking at the meaning of refuge. And I've looked this up in the dictionary. Although we say, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha are our refuge, what is the real meaning? So the meaning is that a refuge is actually a condition of being safe or sheltered. It shelters us from pursuit. That means something chasing us, danger or trouble. And the example I have found is, in this sentence, it is said, he was forced to take refuge from the thunderstorm. That means when it's raining, we go into a shelter. And this shelter, for that time, it protects us from the rain. So it is a shelter to us. So we have to examine in what ways are the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha a shelter to us. In times of trouble, in times of anxiety, in times of danger, in times of grief, in times of loss. How do we turn to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha? Because if we don't really know this, if we don't really know the true value of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha that was introduced to us 2,000 years ago, people can approach us to change our minds. We don't know. And so there is a vacuum, there is an empty space, and people can put things into that empty space. So therefore, it's important for us to know the meaning of Buddha, the meaning of Dhamma, the meaning of Sangha. So, as I said, the second part of this, it is something which provides shelter. So when there is difficulty and danger in the world, we look for a refuge. And then we say some people who are not happy in their country because there are people threatening them, want to do harm on them. So they go to the embassy of another country and they become refugee, which means they want the protection of this new country. They don't want to be subject to dangers of the country where they were living in previously. So the refuge provides protection, provides safety, security, asylum, and sanctuary. It is a shelter for us. When we look at the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the three jewels as our refuge. In fact, we have to know what is the meaning of this word Buddhist. And we know Buddhism comes from the Buddha. And the Buddha, as we were listening to the Buddhist hymn of Dona before we started the Buddha Puja, before we started the Dhamma discussion, it says and tries to describe what is the meaning of a Buddha. Because during the Buddha's time even, many people did not know who or what he was. And so the disciples that gathered around him, many of them knew about the value of the enlightenment. But there were still many who didn't understand the value of this enlightenment. And because they didn't understand deeply, thoroughly the value of the enlightenment, there came about changes in the Buddha's teachings, new perspectives, new ways of interpretation. But if they had really understood the nature of the enlightened Buddha, there would not be any change in the teachings at all. So the Buddha it comes from the root word, the Pali word is Bud, And Buddha means somebody who has woken up. He has awakened. He has attained enlightenment. So that is what the meaning of Buddha. So what does the Buddha teach? So in our words, we say the Buddha teaches Buddhism. Buddhism means the message of waking up. And so what are we as Buddhists? If you consider yourself a Buddhist, you are a person in the process of waking up. That is the meaning of why you call yourself a Buddhist. You are trying to wake up. And wake up from what? Yeah, we are trying to wake up from this dream, this illusion that surrounds us. And this is why understanding the Dhamma is very important, because the Dhamma opens our eyes, yeah, to the things that that really the existence, the true nature of reality, yeah, around us. So it's a very good refuge, the Dhamma. And today we look at the Buddha as our refuge, the enlightened one, he who has awakened, yeah, now tries to wake us up. Yeah. His teachings, his disciples come to us and say, hey, please don't sleep anymore. Wake up, open your eyes, see what the truth is. And then we will have this wonderful, perfect refuge. We won't be so worried. We won't be so anxious. Yeah, we won't feel that we are in danger, in stress, in anxiety all the time if we really understand the teachings of the Buddha. So next, please. So as I mentioned, you know, as ordinary human beings, yeah, human beings who are not enlightened, we don't share the enlightenment of the Buddha. Yeah. As we grow up, as we live in society, we always look for refuges. Do you realize that? We are always looking for refuges for the times that we are feeling troubled. When our minds are not settled, then we look for some kind of thing that will give us this peace of mind. Yeah. And for that time, this thing, this object, this item, yeah, is our refuge. Next, please. So in this world, yeah, as I mentioned, we are insecure human beings. We don't really understand, yeah, what we are doing in this world. Yeah, there are many people who ask the question, why am I here? So there are teachings that said you are created, you know, by a creator to do these certain things. Yeah, but as Buddhists, we also want to understand a little bit deeper than this kind of statement. So as we grow up, yeah, we find that we look for refuges, yeah, here and there. A young child, as we grow up, when we are small, we are little, yeah, we are babies and toddlers and children, our great refuge are our parents. Yeah, you can see when a young child is feels very uncomfortable, yeah, feels that they are being threatened, the first person they run to is mother, and then if mother not around, father. Yeah, but if father is around, they run to the father straight away. So that's our refuge when we are small. But when we grow up, we become teenagers and adolescents, father, mother, not so important anymore. We don't go and talk to father and mother so often. Who do we talk to? We talk to, yeah, our acquaintances, our friends. Yeah, and so our friends become better refuge. Yeah, we go about doing all kinds of things with our friends. Yeah, and we don't give so much time to our parents, our family anymore. But we also, as we grow up, we get married. Yeah, and there are some, you know, and we take refuge in our spouse, in our husband or our wife. Yeah, whenever we're in trouble, we go and complain, yeah, to our husband and our wife. Life is like that. No, And so the wife or the husband will dutifully listen to the complaints. And then the person feels a little bit relieved. Yeah, because they have unloaded onto their refuge. So that happens at certain times. But there are times when people, they find refuge in their profession. Yeah, I am a professional. And so they project their profession, their status, their social standing as their refuge. Yeah, because they want to be recognized. And if not for their position, their rank, then they feel that they have no refuge. They feel very not important. So therefore, they like to tell people, I am like this, I have this title, I have this position. So that becomes, in some ways, the refuge for the people who need it. Yeah. So we can see it in that respect. So there are, when we come to the aspects of religion, we also take refuge in our beliefs and our perceptions. That is how we see the world. In fact, to many people around the world, their identity, their reality is based on the beliefs and the perceptions that they get from their religions. So they identify themselves through their religion, through what they believe. And this is a great refuge to them. Yeah. So the minute they feel they are in trouble, they will go for refuge in this belief, this set of beliefs that they have acquired. So you can see now that we go for refuge quite often. And I have seen people, their refuge is the bottle. Bottle of what? Bottle of alcohol. When they have all these problems, the only way to relieve it is to drink. Some people, the only way that they can relieve their anxiety and problem is to take drugs. So the alcohol and the drugs are their refuge. When they are there, they feel very at peace. But the effects will wear off. Then they have got to go and look again for more of these things in order to feel protected, in order to be cut off from the dangers that they are feeling and experiencing. So these are the values of refuge. These are what we look for in our refuge, as refuges in our lives. Next, please. So there are a whole host of what I call unreliable refuges. And please allow me some time to relate it to them. The first one, next please. The first one is retail therapy. What is retail therapy? Basically, one word, shopping. So when some people, they feel anxious, what do? They go shopping. So this is therapy for them. So when they accumulate things, when they buy things, they feel very nice. So shopping is very important as their refuge. Next, please. Then there are those who go for food and other pleasures. When they feel unhappy, when they feel that times are hard, times are bad, they must go and experience something which is of relief to them. Very nice, very pleasant, very pleasurable. So we don't realize this. But there are times when we look for refuge in food and other types of pleasures. So that when we enjoy these pleasures, we don't think of our troubles. So isn't that a refuge? It's a kind of refuge. Especially there are people who love food. And they will travel 30, 40, 50 kilometers just to eat that food. And when they eat that food, so good, so nice. I don't think about anything else except the enjoyment of this food. Also like durian. You know, they look for that special grade of durian, that special variety of durian. And then when they eat their durian, I don't think about anything else. Yeah. I don't worry about my problems. I just eat the durian. So for those few minutes, durian is their refuge. Yeah, other pleasures as well. So some people like gambling. They go to Genting. Yeah, Genting, yeah, the casino is their temple. So when they go there, they find refuge. But when they come down again, back to the same old thing. Next, please. Then there is busyness. There are some people when they experience some anxiety, they try to keep busy. Yeah, they do lots of things. They do this, they do that. Yeah, they do more work. They clean the house and all sorts of things. The busyness turns their mind away from the problem. Next, please. If not busyness, then also blaming others is a kind of refuge. It's you. You caused this. It's your fault. This one, that one, all kinds of blaming becomes refuge. The only thing is, we never say, I am the problem. Because that is not a refuge. We want a refuge, yeah, in blaming others. They are the refuge. If we can blame them, we divert, you know, the problem away from ourselves. So if I blame you, you are my refuge. Yeah, you take all the responsibility. Not me. I'm not to blame. I don't take any responsibility at all. Right? So they transfer the responsibility, the blame to others. And therefore, they are actually being protected by their refuge. Next, please. Yeah, hating also is another kind of refuge. When you hate others, yeah, you change the topic, yeah, and you say other people are responsible for your problems. Next, please. Wrong views. Wrong views are a particularly dangerous form of refuge because we do not see the truth. We see what we want to see. We believe what we want to believe. And then we go and hide under those beliefs. Our minds are not open to what is the truth, what is really there. So there are many people, yeah, I won't say, yeah, and they are everywhere. They are everywhere, doing all kinds of different things. It's what they believe, is what is their views about life. So these wrong views are a kind of protection from them. So they are protected from the realities through their views. So because of that, they do not want to come and discuss with other people. They do not want to open their eyes. They are not subjecting themselves to further study and investigation. They do not loosen their views to accommodate new and possibly right views. So that is why, yeah, in the Buddha's teachings, right view is very important. Because once you are stuck in the wrong view, it's very difficult to come out. Very difficult to detach yourself from these kind of wrong views. So very important for us to understand this. Next, please. So we now look at spiritual refuges. Yeah, there are many kinds of spiritual refuges in this world. Yeah, it's not just the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha that we know about. There are many, many different refuges, yeah, that is out there. And we want to establish some kind of spiritual refuge because we know it goes very deep inside of us. When we understand certain things, when we understand the teachings of a particular teacher, those teachings go very deep inside. Yeah, in fact, yesterday I was at the market. Yeah, with my wife, we were doing our weekly marketing. Of course, wearing masks. Yeah, and there was this Indian lady that was listening to a talk on her mobile phone. And she showed me, I went to buy joystick, and she showed me this talk that was going on, and I recognized the teacher. The teacher was a very, very popular teacher, now living in the US. And she said, this is, she tried to make me interested in the teacher. And I said, I know this teacher. And I explained what I know. She said, very good. And then I saw that she had a picture of the teacher up on the wall as well. And so this teacher guides her. And she is a very, she said that she had been going through a lot of troubles. She was a single mother. And so this teacher provided her with a lot of peace of mind. And that's a kind of spiritual refuge, which people are very often looking for in this world. Next, please. So now we look at the Buddha as a personage, as a very well-known person, as an icon, in fact. Why do we look at the Buddha as a person that we can reflect upon, that we can recollect? Because the virtues, the qualities of the Buddha are unlike the qualities of other teachers. I know that's very easy to say. We can say it quite to other people. The Buddha is very different. So not hard to say it, but do we really understand? So that's why I started off with the Dhamma. Because when we study the Dhamma, we can see the profoundness of the truths that the Buddha taught. Then when we understand the Dhamma, we look at the Buddha, wow, this is the teacher. This is the teacher who gave us the Dhamma, the wonderful, sublime Dhamma. Then we can appreciate the Buddha more. That's why it's good to study the Dhamma, the Buddha, the Sangha, and see the Sangha's role in this all together. It's not like 1, 2, and 3 in different levels, but all together. So what do we do? And this is what we did during the puja. Next, please. During the puja, we read the qualities of the Buddha. In fact, it is very difficult. I came to the conclusion, just like in the hymn of Dona that was played, it's very difficult for a person to understand the quality, the nature of a Buddha, because the quality of enlightenment is not familiar to us. When we understand enlightenment, when we understand insight, then we can understand the Buddha. And then we can marvel, we can appreciate, wow, there was somebody teaching these kind of principles 2,600 years ago. So the Dhamma is important. Don't neglect understanding the Dhamma. So what are the qualities of this peerless teacher? Let's go through it so that when we chant during the puja, we know what we are chanting. The first one is the Buddha is in the category. You can also call the Buddha an Arahant. Why? He was an Arahant because he had no more defilements. He is totally stainless. There are no more bad qualities in the Buddha. He has cut it off from his mind. He no longer has any evil intentions, any wrong, unwholesome thoughts in his mind anymore. So all that fills his mind is pure thoughts, wholesome thoughts, wise thoughts. So his mind is filled with only those kind of thoughts. Can we find an Arahant today? I believe so. This is my understanding. Yeah, after traveling in Buddhist countries, I think that there are still arahants in this world, although there are not many now. There are these people whose minds are completely pure. They are completely good people. In Buddhism, yeah, and this is why Buddhism is the most optimistic religion there is in this world. Why? Because we teach the concept of the perfectly good person. And this perfectly good person is the Arahant. Perfectly good. He can do or she can do no evil deed. He can do no wrong or unwholesome things ever. Because there is no space in the mind for those kind of intentions. So we believe in that. Yeah, we understand that there are beings in this world that are completely good. Neither do we believe that there is a being in this world that is completely bad. In other faiths, they teach that there is one being totally evil, nothing good about that that person. But in the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha said, even Mara, that we said is the evil one, he is not completely bad. He has good qualities, in him. So, this is the way we look at the human potential, the potential of living beings. Yeah, it is not possible to be completely evil, but it is possible to be completely good. And the completely good person is called an Arahant. Not just is he an Arahant, he is a Samma Sambuddha. What is a Samma Sambuddha? They are very rare. It's not easy to come across a Samma Sambuddha. That is, he is a person who attained enlightenment through his own efforts. For that enlightenment, for that buddhi, to become a Buddha, nobody offered it to him, nobody taught him, nobody gave it to him. He discovered it through his own efforts. More so, he fully understands, past tense, he fully understood the Four Noble Truths and he taught it to us. So that's what makes him the Samma Sambuddha. He is able to understand whatever he wants to, which means to say, whatever he turns his mind towards, he can understand it. But he doesn't want to explain all those things that are not relevant to us, not relevant to our happiness, not relevant to the overcoming of suffering. So the Buddha understood the Four Noble Truths. He taught it to us and he said, I am teaching you this so that you can overcome your suffering and attain the highest happiness. So because of that, he is called the Samma Sambuddha. There are no beings. You can go and look around. Yeah, do your own investigation. Do your own research. There is no other being who teaches this. Some people say that Buddhism came out of an older religion. And that older religion is Brahmanism. It's true. The Buddha, when he was born into a Brahmanist family. But when you look at his teachings, particularly his teachings about anicca, dukkha, and anatta, you will find that the Buddha's teachings is very, very different from the religion that he was born into, and he probably studied it when he was young. So there are two different philosophies, two different faiths, not the same, not a modified faith. The Buddha Vijja Charana Sampanyo. And let me qualify the quality of Samma Sambuddha. I did not mention it just now. In this world, there will be very intelligent human beings, and they will teach what they understand. And they will be able to see two great qualities of the nature of life, two characteristics. The characteristics are they will be able to teach, because they can see it quite clearly. They will teach anicca. What is anicca? Impermanence, the changing nature, the unstable nature of life. They can see anicca. Then they will teach dukkha. They can see that life is suffering. Life is not satisfactory. So they will teach this, and then they will offer their own solutions. The Buddhas, only the Samma Sambuddhas, will teach the third one. What is the third quality? The third quality is anatta. There is no other teacher in this world that teaches the quality of anatta. Only the Buddhas, the Samma Sambuddhas, together with the Four Noble Truths, they will see the world as being characterized by anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Anatta means there is no permanent entity. There is an entity, a person, a being for a short time, but after that, this person will disappear. And the karmic energy will produce. It is a re-becoming. It is not a reincarnation. It is being again. Punya bhava, right? So therefore, the Buddha says there is no permanent soul. There is no permanent entity. Who else teaches this? I don't think there's any other teacher who teaches the concept, the principle, the great quality characteristic of anatta. Okay, we move quickly on. Vijja Charana Sampanyo. He is endowed with perfect and clear vision, and also the good conduct. Vijja Charana. That means he knows the theory, the teachings, and he also lives the teachings. He doesn't teach and then do something else. Whatever he teaches, he will live it. He will do it. And so he preaches, he teaches by example. Here is what you got to learn. Here is what you got to do. So that is the meaning of Vijja Charana Sampanyo. He teaches and shows you through his own life, through his own actions, how to actually live it. So there are two aspects. The teachings, which we can understand, and then the practices that we have to do. So the Buddha was perfect in this. There is no gap between teaching and practice. Whatever he taught, he could do. And he was perfect in doing this. Next, please. So he is also described as Sugato. Sugato means he does everything very well. He walks the path very well. He doesn't walk a crooked path. He has done it in the most pleasant and well-practiced fashion. So which means to say that he has walked this sublime path to enlightenment. He found his own enlightenment without doing all kinds of strange things. Of course, when he became an ascetic, he did all kinds of practices. But in looking for enlightenment, in achieving and attaining the enlightenment, he walked that perfect path. So Sugato means he did it in a very pleasant fashion, very polite, and very how do we say? He did it in a very refined way, very, very cultured way. So he is Sugato. He has walked the path well. Lokavidu means he is the knower of the worlds. He can turn his mind, as I mentioned, towards the nature of the universe, and he could understand it. How he understood the universe is described in a few suttas. The Buddha did not spend a lot of time describing the universe to us. He understood, but he didn't want to take away the attention of the disciples from the study and the practice of overcoming suffering. So, but once in a while, he would explain, it's like this. Whenever it had relevance to what he was teaching, he would explain the nature of the universe. So we call him knower of the worlds, not just this world. He also knows the other worlds. And what other worlds are there? He also knows the Deva worlds. He also knows the Brahma worlds, including the suffering worlds as well. The ghost world, the Asura, as well as animal, and the deep hell worlds, where there is great suffering going on in those worlds. So he is the knower of the worlds, not just the physical universe. He also knows the worlds that we cannot see because he could see them. Then we call him Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati. He is the great teacher, the great trainer of those people who can be trained. If you want to be trained, look no further than the Buddha. Even when the Buddha is no longer here in the world, we take his teachings to train ourselves. So in that way, he is the matchless. There is no other teacher like the Buddha. Next, please. Then he is Satta Deva Manusanam. He not only teaches men, he also teaches the gods, the Devas. And they would come to see him in the early hours of the morning, when human beings would be sleeping. The Devas would come and seek advice from the Buddha as to how to live, how to practice, and deeper understanding of Dhamma. Again, he is also the Buddha. And this is another aspect. We have examined Samma Sambuddha. Now we look at the Buddha, which means he is awakened in that aspect. That one is he understands the nature of truth. This one, he is awakened. He awakened himself, and because of that, he is able to see everything, and he is able to teach the sublime Dhamma in all its aspects. So there is a slight difference. Why we include Buddha in the later part of this chanting. Then he is also the Bhagava. Bhagava is a name given, a term given to somebody we really respect, because he does everything well. He does not make any mistakes. Even in private, when there's nobody around, he doesn't do all kinds of funny things. He is well composed. He does things in private and in public exactly the same way. He doesn't hide anything. So he deserves our respect and our veneration. He is the Bhagava. Okay, so these are the qualities which we chant. There are 9 qualities in all. So when we understand them, there's not much time to go deeper into them, into these qualities, in detail. But if we understand the qualities, then we can take refuge in the Buddha in a more meaningful way, more wholehearted, fully accept the Buddha as our refuge. Which means to say, when we are confused, we don't understand anything, we go to the Buddha as our refuge. And I mentioned to you, during World War II, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Sir Winston Churchill, he was fighting a war with Nazi Germany. And when he had problems, the war was not going well for Britain, he put a Buddha image on his desk, and he would gaze at the Buddha image. And so for Sir Winston Churchill, at that time, the Buddha image was his refuge. He said it calmed his mind down. And then he can think of new ways to defend his country and defeat the enemy, protect his people. So he used the Buddha image as his refuge. You can read this. It's not made up. It is a true story. Okay, next, please. So the Buddha went on to say, to describe himself, and this was done in this sutta when he was already quite old, and he said, that even though I am so old, I would still teach the Dhamma wherever I go. I can still teach it, and it would still be clear as the very day I started teaching. Even though my body is old, my mind is still sharp as ever, and I can teach the Dhamma wherever I go. So this is how he describes himself. Let me read it, the last part of this sutta. He said, a being not liable to delusion, you cannot delude the Buddha, has arisen in this world for the good of the many, for the happiness of the many, out of compassion for the world, for the good and happiness of gods and men. This is the reason why he worked for Buddhahood. When he became the Buddha, he became the great refuge. He was able to teach people how to overcome their suffering, not be caught up in samsara anymore and suffer and suffer and suffer. So he did this out of compassion for the world. Therefore, we take him as the refuge, because it's very difficult to become a Samma Sambuddha, to walk the path that is untrodden. This path is not there. The Buddha clears the path for us to walk. This Noble Eightfold Path was not explained. It existed, but it was not explained. So the Buddha is the one who cleared the path for us to walk. And so we've been doing that for 2,600 years. Next, please. So here is the Buddha. I found this very nice picture. The Buddha as the matchless teacher of gods and men. And it seems even animals wanted to come and listen to him too. Next, please. So Buddha as refuge. What are the important aspects of this? Next. So when we take the Buddha as our refuge, we must do so understanding what the Buddha is all about. Or else the Buddha becomes another deity, becomes another image, another statue in the temple. We do that. We go to the temple, and here is a stone image, sometimes made of marble, sometimes made of metal. We go and pay our respects, but we do not understand the nature of the Buddha. So because of that, he is not a perfect refuge. It is us, it's not the Buddha. The Buddha has done what he has come to do. It's now us. What do we have to do? We look at the Buddha and we can see our own enlightenment. Because of the Buddha and his teachings, we can attain our own enlightenment. That's why we are called Buddhists. People who are learning to wake up. People who are on the way also to enlightenment. So the Buddha offers us this enlightenment. That's why we go for refuge to him. Not to go to the Buddha and just sprinkle water, and ask for 4-digit numbers and all this. I've seen people do that, right? But the Buddha is not about that. The Buddha is about being a perfect refuge, to us. So in the Buddha, we can see our own potential. What is possible for each of us. That's why it is matchless. He is a matchless, peerless, unbeatable refuge. Next, please. So I want to very quickly go through the writings of this famous American monk, Bhikkhu Bodhi. Next, please. Yeah, and he explains the nature of refuge. Yeah, and he talks about the Buddha as what I have described basically. Next, please. He is the incomparable teacher. Next, please. Okay, here is very important. When we take the Buddha for refuge, as our refuge, we must do it with the Dhamma, and we must do it with the Sangha, because in the Sangha we can see the living examples of the Dhamma. So these two qualities are very important: trust and confidence. And we can do that by our own study. If we have not studied the Dhamma, it's not easy to build up trust and confidence. Why do we need trust? Why must we trust the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha? We need trust because they are going to tell us, in fact, they tell us to do things that are not natural to us. Don't kill, don't steal, don't have sexual misconduct, don't keep on drinking alcohol and things that cloud our mind. These things we enjoy. There are some of us who enjoy those things very much. But do you trust the Buddha to give them up? If you don't trust the Buddha, you cannot give them up. You cannot observe the 5 precepts properly if we don't trust the Buddha. Next, we must have confidence in the Buddha, because it's going to take a lot of effort and energy. If we have confidence that this energy, this work that we are going to do is going to pay off, it's due to confidence. If we don't have confidence that what we do will bring us benefit, we won't do it. We don't have trust. Yeah, he keeps telling, we say, every time I come here, they tell me, don't do this, don't do that. And I like it. I enjoy it. I like drinking. You tell me, don't drink. Yeah, I don't want to listen. So therefore, trust is very important. All these intoxicating things, I like it. Now you tell me, don't do it. Do you have the trust, in order to leave it alone? Yeah, and the killing and the lying, telling, stealing, etc., etc. Yeah. There might be small things, stealing things from the office. Yeah, take the ballpoint pen, take the paper clip, all these things. But those actually, my colleagues reminded me, hey, you are a Buddhist, you can't take these things from the office. Then I said, oh yeah, thank you very much for telling me. So when they know you are a Buddhist, they remind you, to keep your 5 precepts. So the confidence part is, do you have the confidence to put in so much effort? It's very important. So when we study the Dhamma, confidence builds up. So whenever we encounter problems, challenges, we don't give up so easily, because we have confidence. Eventually, it will take me to a good place. And as we practice, we begin to see what the Buddha was talking about. Insights will arise, and we can see, yes, it's true. If the small things are true, and I can see it, the big thing must also be true. And eventually, I will see it. Have confidence in the Buddha. So we go about walking the path, bit by bit, slowly we do it. We don't immediately take on everything. So this is important. Trust and confidence are important in taking the refuge. So it comes from understanding, from our own wisdom, from our study, and then our practice. Trust and confidence will grow. Next, please. Right. Okay. So we have discussed this. Yeah. Next, please. Yes, this is what the Buddha talks about. Conviction as well. Yeah, conviction means you really take the Buddha, yeah, as your refuge. You don't go to other refuges, because once you understand the Buddha, you have seen the truth. There is nowhere else to go, because nobody else teaches the same truth as the Buddha. Okay, next please. So here is the true refuge. Yeah, and I have to explain this, but I will try to be as detailed as possible. Next, please. The Buddha once taught the Velama Sutta. And the Velama Sutta discusses the value, yeah, of doing good deeds. And this was because of the story of a person in the past called Velama. He started to give away and do great dana. Yeah, and then the Buddha explained, next please, you can do dana. You can do dana, not a problem. But here is the hierarchy of dana. If you offer a meal to a sotapanna, yeah, it is a great dana. But better than 100 sotapannas is the offering of a meal to 100 sakadagami. And he goes on 100, 100, 100. And then he says, the greatest dana is to offer to the Bhikkhu Sangha headed by the Sammasambuddha than to just the Sammasambuddha. So if you are talking about value of merits, the great merits of giving is offer to the Buddha, the Sammasambuddha, together with the Bhikkhu Sangha. That dana is incredible. But there is something greater. What is something greater? Having a dwelling, you create a place to stay for the Sangha from the 4 directions. Which means to say, you create a temple or a vihara that any of the monks who practice can stay in when they travel. That is very high dana. The next dana, okay, can you hit the button, please? The next dana, it is not just a dana. It is surpassing, yeah, this, the above, what I just described, is to go to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha for refuge with a clear mind. That is the high dana. You will get a lot of merits. You will get a lot of wholesome energy. So if we think about dana, it's good. But when you go for real refuge, true refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, that is high dana. Your merits will be uncountable, but with a clear mind. What is the clear mind? Next, please. Clear mind means, yeah, hit the button, please. Yeah. Prasanna chitta. It means your mind must be bright, pleased, or purified. And then you can have deep devotion. Which means to say, you must have studied and understood and practiced. And so your faith, your confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha is perfect or almost perfect. And then when you go to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha and you chant, Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, with clear mind, your merits will be greater than any dana that you can ever do. This is not my word, it's explained by the Buddha in the Velama Sutta. Next, please. Then let me come to the greatest refuge of all. The Buddha mentioned this in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. He said, be ye islands unto yourselves. Be ye a refuge unto yourselves. Take no other refuge. The Dhamma is your island. The Dhamma can be your refuge. Take no other refuge. So what the Buddha is saying, the Dhamma is great, but you is your great refuge. If you take yourself as a refuge and you practice the Dhamma, there is no greater refuge. So the Buddha gave due respect to the abilities, the potentials, the capabilities of the human being. The Buddha respected the human being very, very much, because he says the human being together with the Dhamma is the greatest refuge. There can be no great refuge than this. So we have a part in it. We just don't go then and accept. What is our part? We have to play our part in the study and the practice of the Dhamma. And that is why the Buddha says, be ye a refuge unto yourselves. Have that confidence. Have that trust in yourself. Don't think that always somebody is going to come and save you. You must save yourself. That is the meaning of what the Buddha mentioned in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. The last sutta the Buddha gave, the last teachings the Buddha taught before he passed away. So with that, I hope you can understand what it means, our place in taking refuge. I hope you will be more inspired, to study, to practice, and to see how you can find the best refuge in yourself, also in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. With that, thank you, brothers and sisters, for your great attention in listening to this Dhamma. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for the very inspiring and educational talk this morning. Explain to us why we take refuge in the Buddha instead of other objects of refuge. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions, you may post your questions in the comment box. Brother Siang Chye, just one question for you.
Yes.
For a person who reaffirm taking the three refuges, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and also to observe the 5 precepts regularly without much understanding, and yet continue to commit a lot of evil deeds, with this taking of the 3 refuges and ceremonial observation of the 5 precepts, without much understanding, have to reduce the evil results of his evil karma?
Yes, interesting question. Like I mentioned, even myself, when I was young, taking refuge was ceremonial. Ceremonial means we do it as a matter of custom. We do it as a cultural practice. So, I followed my relatives to the temple. We do the same thing. I had no idea what I was doing, because as you mentioned, I went to Sunday Dhamma school at the age of 12. So when my teacher said chant this, I chanted this. When the monk said chant that, I chanted that. I really had no understanding. It's only later, that I came to appreciate the value, the meaning of refuge, taking refuge deeper and deeper, that it becomes very meaningful to me. So whenever now I take refuge, it is really going to the Buddha. It is really going to the Dhamma. It is really going to the Sangha, to teach me, to guide me, to show me what more I need to do. So the value of taking refuge must come in attendance. That means it must be together with a change of our behavior. We cannot chant, and then no change in behavior. Yeah, here we can say, I go to the Buddha for refuge. And then after that, we go out and do all kinds of unwholesome things. There is no change in the mind. What happens? The mind is still the same. Yeah, we only spend that time, maybe half an hour, doing the puja. Then when we go out the temple gates, the gates of the Buddhist center, what's the difference? No difference. Go back to the same old thing. That cannot make any lasting change to ourselves, to our understanding, to our wisdom, to our practice. There is no change. Yeah, the minute we walk out the door, back to square one, back to the old me again. So therefore, that is why the Buddha's teachings is not for chanting. The Buddha's teachings is for doing. The Buddha's teaching is for practicing. So how much you can practice will have an effect on the kind of returns that you have. Chanting is good, yeah, but chanting has no meaning if you don't do the work. Late Chief Reverend used to say, what we do is like this. When we are sick, we got cough, fever, we go to the doctor. Doctor will say, yes, take this medicine. So he will give you this plastic, little plastic bags. And in the plastic bag, he said, this is paracetamol. Yeah, take paracetamol 3 times a day. Yeah, after your food. So it is on the plastic, the little plastic packet container. So what we are doing is, and then the nurse will put the medicine into the little plastic container. So Chief Reverend used to say, what we are doing is, every day we take out the little plastic bag and then we start chanting, this is paracetamol. We must take it 3 times a day after food. Yeah, and it is very, very good. Okay, then we keep it. We don't open the bag and take the medicine and put it in our mouth. So when we do practice, when we practice the Buddha's teachings, it is chanting. We chant. Then after that, we open the little plastic bag, take the pill, and we eat it. And the pill will cure us or have good effects on us. That is why we must have study and we must have practice. The pills from the doctor cannot stay in the packet to do us good. Therefore, we must see it like this. Yeah, do your chanting, do your puja, recite the verses, and then reflect on those verses. So that when we go out there into the world, and the world is a very challenging place because not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody thinks like the Buddha or your teacher. How can you keep your precepts in that world which does not understand you? So we have to have trust. We have to have confidence, that what we are practicing is correct. It will do us good. And then the more it changes us, the more we have trust, the more we have confidence. And then we go further and further along the Noble Eightfold Path as the Buddha taught us. So it's important to have behavioral change, not just improve your chanting. Chanting is no doubt is good, but you need to change the way that you live your life as well. Then we can see it's a complete package. We can see the changes in us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Chye, for the very enlightening answer. This next question from Pratik Ova. What is the difference between religion and Dhamma? We have 3 more questions, Brother Chye.
Okay, I'll quickly go through. Yeah, okay. Right. Religion, Buddhism, is created by human beings. Dhamma is always here. Whether human beings are here or not, Dhamma is always here. What is Dhamma? Dhamma is the SOP of the universe. It means it is the way the universe functions and operates. What is religion? Religion is something human beings invent. We invent Buddha image. During the Buddha's time, there's no Buddha image. There is no offering of joss stick. Now when the Buddha is gone, we create the temples. This is a Chinese temple. This is a Thai temple. This is a Saloni Sinhalese temple. So we create all these things. So that belongs to religion. Why some monks wear orange? Why some monks wear gray? That is religion. So what is Dhamma? Dhamma means it is the truth. And it is an unchanging truth. As long as the universe exists, this is the SOP. We cannot change the SOP. We are not great enough to change the SOP. We must follow it in order to be in harmony with the universe. Yeah, and to find happiness in the universe, yeah, we must practice the Dhamma. Not those things that we invent as human beings. Not the things that we create that divides Buddhists. There is only one truth. There is only one Dhamma. There cannot be more than that. So we must see it in this way. Thank you.
Okay, Brother Siang Chye. The next question from Brother Leong Yu Ming. How can we, as a Puthujjana, in this modern era of high technology and IT, develop unshakable faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha?
Oh, we are Puthujjanas, and now we are using technology and IT to spread the Dhamma. Yeah, I am not near you, but you can still see and hear me. So that is technology. And I have found nowadays, the teachers, the great teachers, they have gone online to do retreat. Do you want to do a meditation retreat online? You can do that because through the Zoom, yeah, you can practice in front of the teacher, and then you can give feedback to your teacher, and the teacher can give advice to you. Yeah, there is the teacher I used to practice under called Brother Patrick Kearney. He's in Australia, but recently he conducted online retreat. Yeah, I didn't take part in it. Yeah, and the Venerable Aga Chitta is also conducting online retreats. So if you are interested, use the technology. We cannot go to the meditation centers. We cannot go to the Dhamma centers and the temples. We now close to us. Yeah. So we can use the technology to study and to practice. Because we can see each other, we can hear each other. That is enough to do practice. But you have to practice. It doesn't mean once you switch off the computer, you go and play games and whatever. You have to do the practice because the work is to be done by us. Yeah, no one saves us but ourselves. The Buddha said, "Be ye, yeah, refuge, yeah, to yourself." So therefore, we can use this, yeah, in order to develop the faith. Whether it's unshakable faith depends on us. The more we practice, the more we can see. The Dhamma is like an onion or a cabbage. You pull the layers, yeah, one layer after the, and then after that only you get to the center, yeah, and then you can see the truth. So it is not like you chop and then see the center straight away. You can't do that. You have to pull layers, peel the layers, and then you can see, it's like that. And you get nearer, 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 and eventually you will see, yeah, the truth, yeah, that gives you, that builds into you, yeah, the characteristic of Nibbana. So once you have arrived there, Nibbana is your pathway. There's no other pathway. Nibbana is yours, but it might take time. Yeah, that is the nature of Sotapanna. Sotapanna is going to Nibbana, but when, not sure. But for guaranteed, yeah, to the Sotapanna. So use the technology, whatever technology there is, yeah, can go good or bad. There's a lot of technology that teaches you very unwholesome things. Yeah, they are now spreading wrong views that teaches hatred, yeah, and all kinds of unwholesome things online as well. And here we are, yeah, SJBA doing their best to transmit, to communicate good behavior, good teachings using this technology. So it can go both ways. The choice is ours, what we want to do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Siang Chye. The last question is from Sister Jade Meg. Why is there a hierarchy of doing meritorious deeds? To do any meritorious deeds with a pure heart and mind is practicing the Dhamma without selecting which deed is better, isn't it?
Yes, actually, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, don't think about the hierarchy. Yeah, don't think that, because if human beings start thinking about hierarchy, yeah, it would then you start building up desire and selfishness. I want to do that one because that one give me more merits, man. Right? So don't think about it. The reason why I related the Velama Sutta, and please bear in mind, the Velama Sutta was recited, was taught by the Buddha to the learned disciples, so that the learned disciples can see the value. Those people who listen to this sutta, they could get a great advantage from seeing how much your mind can be purified. That is the whole reason why the Buddha explained it. The Buddha actually is not interested in meritorious deeds. Of course, to the layman, yeah, to those people who didn't become monks and nuns, he will tell meritorious deeds. He will tell you how to do the meritorious deeds. But what the Buddha was trying to explain is the amount of virtue in the mind when you do this and that and that and that, yeah, has different grades, yeah, different volumes. So what he is saying is, if our mind does things with wisdom, with clarity, even when we do dana, we do it with clarity, not with desire, not with selfishness. There is something to learn. Because there are a lot of people, when they do dana, they want the merits a lot. They are attached to the merits. There is no clear thinking. There is no clear mind. The chitta, the mind, is actually tainted. Tainted means it is not totally pure. The really pure dana is done with a clear mind, knowing what you are doing as dana. So, what is important is, if we approach the meritorious deed, knowing that we shouldn't be selfish, we shouldn't have so much craving, that meritorious deed will bring more to us. That is enough for us to understand. So we can let go. Because I have seen, even in SJBA, I have seen people so connected, so much craving to their meritorious deeds. I must give. And then you say, cannot give because the monk is doing other things. They get angry. So what does that mean? Their craving for meritorious deeds, the merits, eventually will overcome the merits that they have done. Because there's so much craving. There's so much wrong thinking. So therefore, when we do dana, we must do anything that we do, we must do it with right view. Have that right view, because that right view eventually will carry us to the end of the journey. Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you so much, Brother Siang Chye, for the very interesting, inspiring, informative and educational talk this morning, also together with the very enlightening answers to our questions. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service, listening to the Dhamma talk with a calm mind and further understandings during the Q&A session. With all the merits accrued, let us share and transferring the merits to all our departed relatives, family, and friends, and to all sentient beings. Akasata cha bummata devanaga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu loka sasanang chirang rakantu desanang chirang rakantu mangparang. Etavata cha hamhei sambetang punya sambedang sabbe deva sabbe satta sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imang no punya bagang mata pitu nancha acharya nancha sabba satanancha sabba mitanancha sabba nyati nancha sabba petanancha sabba devatanancha Bhajema. Imang no punya bagang sabba satanang dema sabbe sata sukita hontu. Imang no punya imana puna kamena Mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punyang asavakau yavahang hotu. Idang me punyang Nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the PUJA. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Sukhi Hontu. Thank you very much for participating. We have come to the end of this 23rd online Sunday Buddha Puja service. Please visit us again next Sunday, same time, 9:30. I'd like you to thank the speaker, Brother Chye, and the technical team, the digital team, which is led by Brother Chim. Thank you, the moderator, President Brother Chim. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you continue to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well, happy, and peaceful always. Sukhi Hontu, goodbye. Sabbe Sata Skritya Hontu.
Bahong sahan semabhinim mita sayudantang ngirimi kelang uditagora sasena